Hi GHS! We're back again with the second in our series of interviews with members of third-party presidential campaigns. Remember that there are 13 nominees for president on the Arkansas ballot, and we're going to bring interviews with as many of the campaigns as we can so that way we can learn a little more about the lesser-known political parties. According to Ballotpedia, the Constitution Party is the fifth largest political party in the country. Don Blankenship is the 2020 nominee for President of the United States. His running mate and nominee for Vice President is William Mohr. I interviewed Mr. Mohr last week, and he was kind enough to share with us a little about he and Mr. Blankenship's campaign and the Constitution Party. What is the Constitutional Party, and how is it different from the Democrats and Republicans?
Well, the Constitution Party started in 1992, but we believe that the Constitution should rule in America. Organizations, churches, businesses are all run by their constitutions. They are the basic law, the structure. They develop the structure of the organization. Our government is no different. Our Constitution is the basis of law. It is what we, the people, have given our government. The Republicans and Democrats say that they both say that they adhere to the Constitutions, which is no longer the case. They say it, they just do not do it. The Republicans have some good points in their platform. The Democrats have some good points in their platform. If they would align their platform to the Constitution, we'd be a lot farther ahead.
What does Don propose to make the healthcare system better?
The healthcare system has evolved into kind of a monstrosity. You're not old enough, I can tell by looking at you. You remember when years ago we had a doctor on every corner, every little town had one or two independent doctors in it. This is not the case anymore. Because of excessive regulation and problems with our tort system, they've been compelled or absorbed into these large medical conglomerates, and that's the reason for our extreme costs in healthcare. We could resolve a lot of that if we would loosen the regulation and allow independent doctors to function once again, take the risk out as much as possible. Tort reform, less regulation, that would go a long ways toward not only improving the healthcare itself, but allowing more cost-effective healthcare.
What are your party's views and plans regarding climate change?
Well, climate change is overrated. We do not accept the idea that we are all dying. We don't accept the idea that man is responsible for global warming or climate change. In the first place, when I was in high school, 45 years ago, I guess, they were predicting within 10 years we would have another ice age. Well, you can see that didn't happen. Now they're predicting we're all going to overheat. That's not going to happen. Climate change is not responsible for all the fires in California right now, and the number of typhoons and all of this. Climate change isn't doing that. These things just cycle around. I've lived a long time now, and I've lived long enough to where I have seen things cycle. And that's just what's happening in America right now. If in fact the Earth is warming up, there are a number of explanations for that that do not include this
So, as a high schooler, one of my biggest concerns is education. What are your plans for the Department of Education?
Abolition. That is a state issue, constitutionally again. The federal constitution prohibits the federal government from any involvement whatsoever in education. So get rid of the Department of Education. That department should go away, give it back to the states, give it back to the local communities, let them determine their own curriculum. Who better knows how to raise their children than the parents themselves?
So, COVID-19 is a global pandemic. How will Don handle COVID-19 if elected?
The current COVID-19 situation, I believe Don would get the federal government out of it. Again, we've got a Center for Disease Control that can't make up their mind whether masks are good or masks are bad. That's, again, a state issue where each state could manage their own health policies.
Alright, so protests are happening all over the United States. If elected, what will Don do to soothe the unrest?
Protests are healthy. Protests are good. They were encouraged by our founding fathers. When they turn violent, that becomes a different matter. That is not a protest. That is a situation of violence and looting and so forth. That is criminal activity. And criminal activity needs to be treated very early and straightforwardly and needs to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Alright, so according to the Pew Research Center, the economy is a top issue for voters in the 2020 election. What is Don's plan to create a robust economy for all Americans?
That's a big question. Economy will be improved if we cease the programs that give large corporations welfare. One of the things that Democrats complain about, and rightly so, about Republicans, is all of the corporate welfare that Republicans hand out. And if you stop that corporate welfare, and if you stop handing outrageous benefits to large corporations, cease that activity, encourage entrepreneurship, encourage small business, make it affordable, and let risk and lessen the regulations. When small business thrives, our economy will be very positively affected.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time out of your evening to interview with me.
Thank you, Ty. I appreciate it.
You too.